Alrighty, well, hello everybody. Welcome to Daemon processes in Linux. This is just a basic overview of what daemon processes are, and just so they can get a general awareness of them and how they might come into play in cyber Patriot competitions. So, first though is before we can explain what daemon processes are, we have to ask, what is a process? You can think of a process like a container that holds/runs an application or executable. This way the application is contained inside its box, if you will, and therefore can't get outside of that, so that if the program crashes, it will not crash the entire system. With older computers, the operating system and the application all share the same place in memory, and so a common issue was the operating system would crash the application, or the application would crash the operating system, and it would just be absolutely horrible. With later versions of Windows, the operating system was in its own secluded area in memory, but the process had not been invented yet, and so applications would still crash other applications. But now, with the invention of the process, the application runs inside this process or container, and therefore, if it crashes, it only crashes that process and not everything else on your system, which is awesome. Processes are responsible for nearly everything your computer runs/does, and a solid understanding of them is really essential when it comes to a system. And so now that we've talked about what processes are, what are daemon processes? So daemon processes are the Linux equivalent of a Microsoft Windows service. They're basically processes that more of run in the background and do important tasks, but aren't necessarily on an application that you would see in front of you on your user interface. That you would access these by running the ps command, and it's without using the ps command or some other way of viewing all your processes, it's difficult to know whether or not a daemon process is running on your machine. It also provides process execution without user input if configured to start on boot up. So a lot of daemon processes are basically told to start on your system whenever you turn it on, the Ubuntu box or the Windows box or whatever it might be. And these, if I imagine with regards to the boxes that you get for Cyber Patriot, that there would be some very malicious daemon processes that are basically set to start up as soon as you turn on your box, and so you would need to go through and make sure you disable those for your competitions. Yes, it is very important to check on each box so that you're given, because yeah, like I said before, there's all sorts of nasty stuff that may be put on your system that you do not want on your system. And then daemons continued. So yeah, daemons can be manipulated directly from the command line during their initial startup, or after they are run by their own specific commands. Can't English today. But yeah, so you can oftentimes only access daemon processes either through the command line, through the ps command that I mentioned earlier, or if you have a particular application that manages these for you, then you can probably do that and configure them to either disable certain daemon processes on boot up that would be maliciously configured and that shouldn't be there, or just removing or killing these processes entirely. And so yeah, and then one more slide about daemon processes continued again. And so daemons are listed as an output of PS, as I mentioned before. And just kind of a quick edit to that was usually you want to use ps-axl, as PS will just give you the processes with regard to applications usually, and ps-axl will list specifically all the daemon processes. In that normally by convention they're named with a D at the end of the process, so DHCP is the daemon DHCP process, but not all of them are like that, and you just have to be aware of what is and what isn't. In that not all daemon processes are important for system tasks, so it's not belonging to the operating system itself, but some are for specific applications that would be running in the background that would want an extra process outside of the original thing. And so let me pull up an Ubuntu box real quick. And so